I'm joined now by Dr. Shirley Tilghman, who is the incoming president of ASCB and also the President Emerita of Princeton University. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So you have a big year ahead. Tell me what some of the priorities are that you have set so far.
Well, I think there are three priorities. I think the first is to have the senior leadership of ASCB to be continually thinking hard about how we can best serve the membership of the society. And by that I mean everything from undergraduates who are thinking about careers in biology all the way up to senior faculty who are thinking about how they are going to end their careers. I think one of the real hallmarks of ASCB, in my lifetime at least, has been its ability to think about how it can be a very broadly based scientific society that is constantly serving the needs of its membership. So I think that's one priority. I think the second priority is to continue to do what I think past presidents have been doing over the last few years, which is to broaden the base of who thinks of themselves as a cell biologist. And one of the things we know is happening in cell biology is that the core of the discipline is now sort of extending its tentacles into biophysics, into neuroscience, into developmental biology, into physiology. And I think we as a society should be constantly thinking about how to reach out to people who may not wake up in the morning and saying, I'm a cell biologist, but who in fact could be tremendously advantaged by being a member of the society. So I think that's my second priority, and that's a continuation of things that have been really important to the society for some time. And then probably the thing that is my priority, that it comes closest to the work that I've been doing professionally over the last 18 months, is to really use the bully pulpit that I happily have now for the next year to advocate for reforms in the biomedical research enterprise. I think we're living through very difficult financial times right now, and the solution of looking to the federal government and saying just give us more money and everything will be fine, those days are over. And it means that we as a group have to really be thinking about how we're going to change the way we go about doing our business so that we can produce the very best science that we know how to do. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time this year using this bully pulpit and my colleagues in ASCB to think hard about what some of the reforms should be.
And I think then you touched on what some of the biggest challenges are, and that is trying to come up with the money to do this critical research. How can you be helped by members of the society?
Well, I don't think the solution is going to come simply by finding more money, although there's literally not a working scientist I know who doesn't believe that we could use more money productively. I think we have to do more than that. I think we have to really think about how we have structured our workforce, how the pipeline is not working for the youngest members of our profession. I mean, it should not be the case that you're 37 years old when you are applying for your very first independent job as a cell biologist. And those structural changes are not going to come from on high. They're not going to come from others. They're going to come from us, and they're going to come because we've analyzed this current situation, and we understand that some of the reforms have to be initiated by us.
You talk about the young people, and I know that you counsel postgraduates often. What are you telling them? What is your best advice to them?
Well, at Princeton, of course, I always start off with undergraduates because those are the largest body of biologists that we have at the university. And so what I say to them is that, I begin by saying how much I have loved my own career in life sciences. I think it's one of the most wonderful, exciting ways to spend your life. But to do it successfully today, you really have to have what I call fire in the belly. You have to wake up in the morning thinking, I can't wait to get in to find out what happened with my experiment. And you have to go to bed at night saying, I wonder what I should do tomorrow. And if that fire is not there, I think it's going to be very hard to navigate the system as it currently exists. I hope that in the future the system will allow individuals, who are a little less certain about what they really want to do, to at least try out biology. But right now it's too hard. And so I actually say, first of all, decide how badly you want to do this. And if the answer is really badly, then go for it.
Certainly in seeing people around this meeting here, there is a lot of energy, but there is a lot of talk and a lot of fear about perhaps the lack of funding in research and the future of biomedical research. So if people look to you as someone who has been so successful in your career and now looking to be the leader at ASCB, what can you tell them about the future of research?
Well, I'm pessimistic in the short term and I'm optimistic in the long term. I think that this country, if you think about where the success of the United States came from, particularly in the 20th century and particularly after the Second World War, economists have estimated that some place between 50 and 70% of the growth in the economy came from investments in basic research that came from the federal government when we're invested in research universities. And I don't believe this country is going to turn its back permanently on making those kinds of investments, because that's where our success as a country came from. So in the long term, I think we're going to come to our senses. What I'm worried about is how we're going to get there. And I think some of the work I want to do as president of ASCB is to really try and stimulate national discussion about how we are in fact going to reform the structure of our system, and then we'll be much more effective in advocating for additional resources.
And having so many people coming into it who are so enthusiastic about it can only help, and if they can communicate the importance of the science and the research they're doing.
Exactly, and there's nothing more persuasive than a graduate student or a postdoc who's just made a new discovery, who's had that first taste of what it's like to make a discovery. If you talk to someone like that, you believe in the future.
And then if they're able to communicate how that discovery is going to affect other people's lives, I think that will continue to keep other people passionate about scientific research.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dr.
You're
Tilghman,
welcome.
incoming president of ASCB. Good luck in your next year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.